What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and oh no, I can't believe it. We hardly knew ye. I don't know whether to be sad or happy because dunking on Star Wars The Acolyte has been an immensely fun period of time for me. I know it's been a great boom economically for a lot of my fellow content creators who have been hungry for entertainment news to dunk on. It's been slow. You know, the writer's strike kind of kept everything slow. Finally, we get a big budget project, $200 million spent on The Acolyte, and it is complete garbage. And it looks like, according to the showrunner, Leslie Headland, much like She-Hulk, that they also spent $200 million on, it is not set to be renewed. We're going to get into that after a super quick word from this video sponsor. That's right, it's your boy, Raid Shadow Legends. Huge shout out to this video sponsor. That's right, it's your boy, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends has 4 million users, over 250 million downloads, 800 different champions, 16 factions, a million builds, 30 bosses, constant monthly updates, super high store reviews at 4.7 out of 5. It's cross platforms, you can play it anywhere. You can play with your friends, family, and create your own clan. Yeah. That's a lot going on with this game. I should also mention there's a huge real-life event going on this month where you can win gaming consoles, smartphones, Amazon gift cards, $5,000 value, legendaries, and much more. Well, there's a special Summer Tavern minigame that's running June 15th through July 10th. You can download Raid using my link or the QR code, enter your Raid ID at summertavern.polarium.com to start searching for hidden items. Also, they've partnered with YouTube to give people 2 months free of YouTube Premium. All you have to do is download Raid before July 17th, play for at least 5 days in total, hit level 20 within 30 days. Then your YouTube Premium can be activated starting June 6th. That's 2 free months of YouTube Premium. What I love about Raid is there's always something new to do, and I can pop in and pop out anytime I've got a little bit of extra time that I want to relax. And so I want to encourage you to give Raid Shadow Legends a try today. Just give it a try. I have a feeling you're really going to enjoy it. New players, if you click my link in the description or scan the QR code, you get an amazing in-game loot with epic boss killer Tyrell and Rector Drath upon reaching level 25. So just hit my link in the description. Once you're in, start crushing your enemies. You can add yourself to my guild. It's the Quarter Pounders. I hope to see you in the game. The Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland cast doubt on a second season ever being made. That's because I don't know where all this money goes because the show looks ridiculous. But these shows have wildly massive budgets. $180 million to make an 8-episode series. That's bigger. That's a bigger budget. I just watched a great movie. Great movie. Its budget was less than $1 million. The movie was called The Last Stop in Yuma County. Excellent movie. Very entertaining. Slow burn all the way through. Less than $1 million budget. The Joker had a $50 million budget and made $1 billion. How are they spending $200 million on She-Hulk? I'll never know. How are they spending $200 million on The Acolyte? I'll never know. Nepotism, laundering, I don't know. Leslie Headland, the showrunner of The Acolyte, recently cast doubt on the idea that the show will be greenlit for a second season. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly, following the release of the show's 5th episode, Headland said, "Something that I've noticed is the first seasons will end on what should have been the break into Act 2. It feels like everyone's really expecting the shows to get a second season, and I don't feel that that's a good idea." She then added, "I threw everything into season 1 because who knows what's going to happen." Despite Headland being unsure if the show will get renewed for a second season, she did inform the outlet that she has, quote, 4 or 5 major mysteries she'd like to explore if they do. The show has not performed well on any metric. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show has a 14% audience score. It's the lowest of any Star Wars film or television show. It fares slightly better on IMDb. It is a 3.3 out of 10 rating. However, the unweighted means is 2.9. The majority of all reviews are 1 out of 10. Now, again, I've said this before, you know, The Acolyte is not a 1. It just isn't. You know, ones are people that are saying, hey, you didn't care about the Star Wars lore. I'm going to react negatively. Now, I won't say the show is much more than a 6 at best. If you know nothing about Star Wars, it's probably, if you're a mild Star Wars fan, you probably think it's a 4. If you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, you probably think it's a 2 or a 3. Like, the show is just not good in general. And the people kind of like coping and seething online about how great it is, they're just not watching it. Not only are the audience scores and user reviews in the dumpster, but the show's viewership is terrible as well. The Walt Disney Company officially revealed the show's first 2 episodes only gained 11.1 million global views after the first 5 days. Given the Walt Disney Company calculates a view by the total stream time divided by runtime, the global minutes viewed only comes to 820 million. That's 9 million less than Ahsoka. The big kicker is that Nielsen only tracks the United States. This means Ahsoka's US viewership was way bigger than the Acolyte's entire global viewership. Analytics firm Luminate appeared to confirm just how disastrous viewership of the Acolyte is. As reported by Variety, the show's first 2 episodes only brought in 210 million minutes watched in the United States. That's 619 million minutes less than Ahsoka. That's massive. That is a massive drop. And look, it's the summer. There's a couple of caveats that I think I can throw out there. It's summertime. People aren't watching as much TV. Obviously, people knew Ahsoka as a character. Nobody knew the Acolyte. The marketing for the Acolyte was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. By the way, on this other show is Dancing for the Devil, the 7 million TikTok cult, sucked. Terrible documentary. Garbage. The only reason it got all these minutes viewed is because you were cramming it on the homepage. I was like, oh, let's watch this. I like cult stuff. Terrible. Eric was pretty good. But anyway, you see the Acolyte at 210 million minutes. The show had a slight bump the next week. Minutes watched increased to 380.5 million. That's not slight, that's strong. However, that was still way below Ahsoka's 487 million minutes watched in its 3rd episode of debut. By the 3rd week of the debut of episode 4, the minutes watched significantly regressed, back down to 262 million. Well, if you go to 262 million, I want to keep all these numbers correct, from 380. Okay, so that is a big drop. Now it's down to 262 million for week 3. Not only do the metrics look bad, but Headland appears to have lined up at least one other project outside of Star Wars. Deadline reported that this week that Headland will make her Broadway debut on Second Stage Theater production for her play Cult of Love. It will be directed by Trip Cullman. The play is expected to begin performances at the end of November at Hayes Theater. How sad. Where will they spread their woke propaganda now? How unexpected. I'd say you look at the show is still sitting at a 14%. It is a absolute disaster from a critical standpoint. It is as low as it can possibly go from a user review standpoint. None of that would mean anything if people were actually watching the show, which they aren't. If we look at exactly what happened, every time Disney puts a huge amount of money, like his Bone Tomahawk, by the way, excellent movie. Got to meet that guy out in Montana, Dallas. Awesome dude. I remember being on set with him on a Western movie, on the Gina Carano movie. And he was like, dude, come look at the camera. They were filming something where somebody gets lassoed off a horse. They were filming a stunt. He was like totally into it. Bone Tomahawk producer claims the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland used to be based and would have dumped all over the Acolyte for its stupid gender motives and dumb physics. Shout out Dally. Here's Bonfire Legend. The Acolyte makes me sad on so many levels. Star Wars is awesome. Was awesome. I discovered Leslie in a 15-seat theater on Santa Monica Boulevard back in 2007. Like Greta, I locked arms with this woman, haha, and forced Hollywood to pay attention to her. Leslie was so base back then. She would have dumped all over the Acolyte for its stupid gender motives and dumb physics, like fire in outer space. Last I saw her in 2017, and she was still her old self. But her reboot of Heathers, co-starring an even younger Brett Cooper, soon got canceled very publicly for all the wrong dumb reasons, and it really shook her spirits. I saw her lean into the modern victim mentality more with Russian Doll on Netflix, and really no turning back from there. Hey, look, we all get older, we all got to pay the bills, and the world is cracked. I get it. But it's just so sad to see someone I managed for over 8 years and cared so much about become the very thing that she and I would mock mercilessly for a decade. I mean, yeah, this just proves that most of these people are just doing it for the money. Most of these people are apolitical. Most people in Hollywood and really in the world care only for things that directly relate to and around themselves. Nobody's really thinking about grander political ideologies and things like that. But when it's tied to your ability to make a living, suddenly all these people seem to care about this stuff. We look, She-Hulk season 2 canceled after series budgets were insane and ratings collapsed. Well, the budget for this show was $211 million. Okay, $225 million all in. So The Acolyte is a little bit less, but it's still gigantic. What was it? It was 200, close to 200 million for The Acolyte. They would have done a season 2, but nobody has any idea. Nobody wants to see season 2, and there's no money for it. 225 million. What was The Acolyte again? I thought it was like 170. The Acolyte budget. 180 million. So it's still gigantic. It's more than the film Dune. So Acolyte has a $180 million budget and dwindling viewership. There's no chance this show gets renewed, and it may be the final nail in the Star Wars series. I don't know. They're going to have to do a Star Wars movie probably, because the reason you put The Acolyte, the reason you bought Star Wars, the reason you make Acolyte is because you want people to sign up for Disney Plus to watch the show. I highly doubt people signed up to Disney Plus to watch this show. Not after the reviews, not after everyone was making fun of it. There's no way this was a financial success for them. They're going to cut bait, almost certainly. But I wouldn't be mad if there really was a season 2, because, well, this is my job. Hope to see you tonight over on the Mean Green website, 8 o'clock Eastern, for the uninterrupted debate stream. Bring your mugs, bring your popcorn. We've got bingo, we've got prizes, and so much more.